Hello everyone, so seeing as the Quarter Quell is a special occasion, I'm going to do what several people on here have asked me to do. Firstly, thanks for all your comments. It has been great to see that people have been enjoying these videos and it has made all this work very worthwhile. However, some people have asked if I would narrate these games out loud like an audiobook. Therefore, this is what I'm going to do for these special 25th games. Make sure you check the pinned comment below if you want to give feedback on whether you prefer me narrating or having it written down. So the 25th games. After Cyrus Quell's actions from 2 years before, the capital ordered that for this first Quarter Quell, the districts would each vote for their tributes. This resulted in a pool of tributes who were either very unpopular, known criminals, the children of high-ranking district officials, or a mixture of these descriptions. This year's victor had allegedly dealt a contaminated batch of morphling within their district, thus leaving them very unpopular and in jail. To make these games especially memorable, the game makers decided to use the fable of the 10 Egyptian plagues, with one plague happening each day in the order that they occurred. They recreated an arena that would have been the setting for these plagues, with a long river flowing through the arena. The victor was Guillaume Lefebvre, age 16, from District 11. The cornucopia was suspiciously full of supplies, leading to most tributes being able to grab something useful and escape, with less fights over supplies and only 3 tributes being killed in the initial bloodbath. Most of the remaining tributes ran through the desert hills to safety, but just as they were getting their bearings, thick red blood started raining down on them, horrifying many tributes and even causing some to run blindly into walls and knock themselves unconscious. Selina from 6 even fell continuously down a pyramid to her death. After the blood rain had stopped, many tributes bathed in the river in order to clean themselves, which made it much easier for the career pack to find and kill them. The next day, venomous frogs entered the arena. Whilst most tributes were not overly affected and managed to escape to higher ground, Karina and Stu, both from 8, died from eating these frogs. On the third day, swarms of gnats were placed into the arena. Although they caused little harm, they heavily irritated tributes and are thought to have caused Boomer, from 5, to snap the neck of his district partner, Lula, in a fit of rage whilst they were arguing. The next day, tributes woke to find all their food supplies covered in flies. They naturally assumed that their food was now inedible, but Guillaume from 11 realised that the fruit he had taken was still edible and was one of the few tributes to be able to eat that day. Therefore, on day 5, when the famished tributes turned to the cows by the river for food and milk, the majority didn't notice that these cows had come down with an infectious disease, which caused their meat to be tainted. Most of the tributes who ate the meat became rather ill, with Lavinia, from District 2, dying surprisingly early. The cows recovered overnight, but on day 6, the game makers decided to launch another infectious virus, this time for humans. Tributes were told that they had 5 minutes to grab a mask from the cornucopia that would protect them from this virus before it was released. Guillaume was lucky enough to be near the cornucopia during this announcement and grabbed a mask shortly before the remaining careers arrived. This second bloodbath caused 5 more deaths at the hands of the careers who were guarding the masks. Marcus, from 2, decided to run after Guillaume, but Guillaume ambushed Marcus, jumping down upon him from a pyramid and then bashing his head into the brick until he died. Bolton, from 3, and Liza, from 12, both opted to risk this virus and received horrific boils on their bodies. Even though Liza's boils painfully burst, they both managed to survive the day. On day 7, with 10 tributes left, the game makers increased the temperature to such an extent that various plants caught fire. Rather sadistically, they also generated hail, which was so heavy that it caused several tributes who were outside to lose consciousness, including Boomer, who was killed by a particularly heavy chunk of hail that hit him directly on the head, whilst Liza developed an infection from the tumultuous weather and died. The next day, a roaming swarm of locusts swept through the arena, agitating most tributes and destroying many remaining food supplies. On the 9th day, the arena was plunged into intense darkness, causing the remains of the career pack to turn on themselves in a blind fight, whilst Guillaume managed to find and strangle Bolton. On the final day, with only Concretia, from 1, Sienna, from 4, and Guillaume left by day 10, the game makers made an announcement as the sun rose, stating that the firstborn of each tribute's family would be shot dead, if that tribute was not in the cornucopia within 5 minutes. Not wishing to take their chances, the three of them all made it back, with Guillaume arriving just 4 seconds before the time limit, which allowed him to see Sienna stabbing a knife through Concretia's neck. At this point, Sienna and Guillaume, both exhausted and damaged, fought worthy fights, but eventually Guillaume managed to disarm his opponent and strangled her to death, emerging victorious. After winning, Guillaume moved to the capital and never returned to District 11. He also refused to accept District 11's winning food supplies, instead giving them to District 4, as an act of revenge for them choosing him to be in the games. So there we have it, the first 25 games. Thank you all for your appreciation and your comments. It's great to discuss this as well. It might sound a bit weird having an English narrator for American games, but let's just say that in the future the capital citizens develop an English accent. So during this difficult time, I can assure you that there are more games on their way. Take care, everyone.